Okay, YouTubers, check it out. I'm going to explain the last scene to you guys for Monday Night Monologue. Um, that's as close to real life as I want to get to reliving that because this happened in my 20s. As a mixed person growing up, I've had a lot of racism in my life from black people and from white people. And that one incident that I just reenacted with a couple of changes, it was real. That was the only person that were native that gave me a bad problem. So here's how the story goes. I used to film videos for the Charlottesville Cardinal wheelchair basketball team. I know a man who's a Mohawk who has a white mother and he's the son of a chief who set those two assholes straight. I never got to re-talk to the young Native American lady and I hope that she's doing well. As for her two uncles, I got no love for these motherfuckers at all. And as the story goes, it's like this. I was talking to her and I was introducing myself and I was telling her how pretty she was. And she was born with one leg shorter than the other leg or some shit. I don't really know how to explain it. And she was a very beautiful girl. She was like between 18 and 20 and I was 23. So she was of legal age. And she was probably one of the most beautiful native girls I ever saw in my life. And I hope wherever you are that you were happy and that your uncles didn't keep you from finding happiness from someone. Wish I could have been that guy. But I'm not a pure native, as they pointed out. I was talking to her, and one of her uncles, he shooed her away. And he started talking to me. And he didn't really have a racial slur to say outside of half-breed or nigger. I said what I said, nigger, hard ER. He didn't call me that, probably wanted to. But he substituted with the word unpure. And he said, don't talk to my niece. You're not a pure native. I'm not going to take away your indigeneity, but you're not a pure native. You're not really one of us because you are a mixed breed. You are not worthy of my niece. You need to not speak to her. Now, we were at what is currently now a parking garage, but at the time there was a hill and a big ass oak tree here in Charlottesville, Virginia. And I'm a martial artist and I'm angry. Two of the worst things you can be at the same time. But I've always been angry. I haven't always been a martial artist. But when I became one, it was to channel my anger. It also made me a really good fighter. I looked at this man and I said, are you able to get out of that wheelchair? And he's like, no. I was like, well, that's probably a good thing then. He's like, why? I said, because if you can get out of that wheelchair, I'm going to beat your ass. And then we'll see if I'm worthy of talking to your niece. He's like, what? I said, well, here's the thing. There is no honor in fighting a man who can't stand up and fight back. But do you think you can get out of that wheelchair faster than I can roll your ass into that oak tree? Now I'm 23 years old. I probably shouldn't have handled it that way, but that's how I handled it. And he's like, what? I said, you got two choices right now. Roll at your own accord behind your niece, or I roll your ass into that fucking oak tree. So he rolled past me, and his brother came up. Now I'm already hurting and I'm pained because I've been told that I was not a pure native. Something I already knew. As a mixed person, I know that being mixed is not fucking easy. I know the horrible things that has been said to me because I fucking lived it. All through grade school, all through high school, all through middle school, and then at that moment. His brother rolls up. Also in a wheelchair. Because they were playing wheelchair basketball for whatever team was against the Cardinals. And I had filmed it, and the girl was very beautiful. It was hard to keep my camera away from her. Not being a creep. Anyway, the uncle rolls up and says pretty much the same thing that the youngest of the three gentlemen, because the daddy was like a higher ranking person and he didn't play basketball. His daughter and her two uncles played, and the daddy wasn't there. So the older brother, I like to refer to him as Jan Brady, while the younger brother was Cindy. And he rolls up on me and says, I heard you talking to my brother. I saw you talking to my niece. You are not a pure native. Stay away from our family. I repeated the question. Can you get out of that wheelchair and fight? And he said, no. So then I said, can you get out of that wheelchair faster than I can roll your ass into oncoming traffic? Because he dug in on me way worse than Cindy Brady did. I mean, he let me have it. You're a half-breed. You're not a pure native. We don't want your kind in our bloodline. And those were like really daggers to the chest, because growing up mixed, I never had a bad Native American experience until that day, where I had two in the same day. And it was just like the baby brother put the knife in, two of them, and then dude just got a hold of the knives and started twisting by letting me know that I was a mixed person and that I was a half-breed and that I was never going to be native enough to be in their family and that I was a piece of filth, that abominations like me shouldn't exist. And it was a really bad thing. And I didn't handle it well. I didn't handle it any better than I handled the baby brother, where I said, I'm going to roll your ass into oncoming traffic. So then he left. And my friend, who's half white and half Mohawk, him and I had a talk. And he's like, hey man, I'm going to go set that straight. And I'm sorry that this happened to you, because I'm also mixed. But because I'm mixed with white and I look more native, it's a little bit more acceptable for these full bloods to accept me, because I'm the son of a fucking chief. Which he was the son of a chief. So shout out to Courtney, by the way, because that's the name of the son of the chief that helped me out. And I miss him. I don't know where he is. And they don't really play wheelchair basketball like talking about it no more. So me and Courtney done rode up the road quite a few times going to play wheelchair basketball in Canada. And it was always his truck that we rode in until the day we didn't, because Courtney was driving everybody else, and Rick and Brandon and I was driving in some rent-a-car. That was the only time Courtney and I never rode together, and that was like our last time going up, because the wheelchair basketball tournament at the Toby Choke, they stopped having it for some odd-ass reason. I think Michael Bryson, God rest his soul, because I don't think he's with us anymore, but he stopped hosting it, and then everybody just decided that it wasn't going to happen anymore. I missed the Toby Choke gym. I missed Canada. Anyway, Court went and talked to them, and I had to sit at the far end of the table, and then I never saw them again. So the long story short is, before that day, I never had a bad Native American experience. It was always from black people or white people. It was always more blacks than whites that were always calling me a zebra, a half-breed, a Susie Q, anything that you can find on the Jeffersons, Sanford and Son, Benson, Silver Spoon, anything that had to do with somebody who was black and mixed. And if it was an insult, it was directed at me in school. The Tonto dance, where's your goat, all this other shit. And all that in between, the Challenger blowing up, and lots of stuff, man. And by the time I was 23, I had never had a bad Native American experience. So when I finally met other natives, I didn't think it would be negative. As I started my acting career, I never met any negative stuff with natives, because a native casting director, when they stopped the line in front of me, with the guy in front of me, when they were filming Evan Almighty here, the lady gave me some advice. She said, hey, are you Native American? I said, no ma'am, I'm a mixed native. And she says, well, they're filming Conquest 1492. You look native enough to pass. Carry your ass down there. And at the time, I didn't have a car. I had no way of getting in there. And I didn't want to be a Native American. I wanted to be a mixed person, because if you read that bio, it lets you know that I am mixed raced. And now, if you've been with me long enough, you know that I am billing myself out as a native. I finally decided to listen to the ancestors, because otherwise I'm not going to get any work. And I still haven't gotten work yet. I'm waiting on 9-9 to actually stop sending me to casting calls that aren't casting calls. Anyway, that being said, I'm Echo Fan Grey Wolf. This is Kung Fu Effort number 2. I hope I've explained everything. I'm going to show you my prototype song for Peace for a Day. Then I'm going to do 3 versions of Peace for a Day, and we're going to call it a day. Thank you for watching. I'm Echo Fan Grey Wolf. This is Kung Fu Effort number 2. Be seeing you.